Howdy there folks, Quinn of Snazzy Labs here, and for a minute I would like you to think of an awesome computer, either one that you already have or one that you really want. I bet it's not from Hewlett-Packard, now is it? Look, HP is no longer on the radar of most of us consumers, and I think HP's finally realized that they're no longer #1 on the list. And so they've settled with a new idea and methodology, which is make good computers for really cheap. And that is exactly what they've done with the HP x360 13-inch, which is available for $479. Let's take a look. Now, this little laptop packs really well-rounded specs considering the price tag. It has a 5th generation Intel i3 processor, which obviously has the Intel HD 5500 graphics. You've got 4 GB of RAM, which is not a lot, but I'll talk about that in a minute. And you have a 500 GB hard drive. Yes, it's a hard drive, not an SSD. Now, there is also a 13-inch touchscreen that can bend all the way backwards into a tablet mode, which I'll talk about in a minute. The resolution, though, is not very good. It's almost unacceptably bad at 1366 by 768. Now, for $100 more, HP will let you upgrade the display to 1080p, but that's not the problem at hand. For $120 less, you can get the same computer, the x360, in the 11-inch model, which still has a 1366 by 768 resolution. So on a smaller display, it's actually higher pixel density on the cheaper model. On this model, it just looks bad. I don't care what computer you're coming from, it isn't good. So keep in mind that this is the base model. The screen is not good, but other than that, all of the other specs can be upgraded. The RAM, the processor, the screen, the hard drive, everything can be changed. You can swap in SSDs, get an Intel i5 or i7, but as a result, the price is going to go up pretty significantly. I'm reviewing this computer as the $479 machine that HP is so heavily advertising. So the question is it worth owning, or should you shell out an extra $200 for something that theoretically is much better? Well, after a few weeks of using the x360, I'm actually pretty impressed. The OS boots from a hard drive, which I thought would be dreadfully slow, but it's not bad at all. Windows 10 is actually really quite respectful of the 4 GB of RAM, and I found the machine was actually pretty quick and responsive. Applications open fast, multitasking was great, and this is all coming from a guy who's used to using a Surface Pro 3 and top-of-the-line Macs. Now, the lack of a dedicated GPU is something to note. It's a bit of a bummer to gamers. Now look, for $500, I don't expect one. I was able to play all of the titles from the Windows Store, like Asphalt 3, like Leo's Fortune, like Minecraft for Windows 10 without any problem. But the second I tried to install Steam, problems began to arise. Steam games did work, but performance was really rather poor. You're pretty much tied down to the Microsoft Store in this case. Now, this thing is marketed towards students, and for that, it actually does quite well. The keyboard, for one, is fetching excellent. There's nice travel, the keys are incredibly responsive, and the spacing is very good. It's one of the best laptop keyboards I've ever used, and that includes laptops that cost 3 to 4 times more. I'm not kidding, it's great for typing. Even the biggest Mac haters, however, can't deny that the trackpads on MacBook are superior to everything else on the market, and here, that's no exception. The trackpad on the x360 is decent. The click is a little bit mushy, but it works. The only thing that bothers me is that it doesn't have ultra-precise control that I'm used to, so for that, the touchscreen actually comes in handy. Speaking of the touchscreen, it works really well. It responds great to touch and works great for games and tablet-based apps. Now, there is no pen or stylus input, so you're going to stick to the good old fingers, but I didn't find that to be much of an issue. Even in OneNote, I could kind of doodle out some notes with my finger. HP brags about this computer's tablet mode, but honestly, I did not like it. There are 2 huge problems, and the first one is weight. This computer packs a mechanical hard drive, slightly older equipment, and a massive battery. So this thing is not light by any stretch of the word, especially not for use as a tablet. You'll get tired of holding it after about 16.43 seconds. Now, the other issue is heat. If you're playing a game, the metal that surrounds the keyboard gets mighty warm. It never got too hot to hold, but it sure wasn't pleasant. Now, the battery is big, but keep in mind it is powering a spinning hard drive, so battery performance is about what we were used to on computers a few years ago. 5 to 6 hours for word processing and browsing the web, but when you're doing video and gaming, you'll be lucky to squeeze a little over 2 hours out of this thing. That wasn't great. So all in all, the x360 is a good computer. If you are a student or you don't need the latest and greatest tech, it's fine. If you're a gamer, you'll want to stay away, and if you're used to an SSD, you'll probably want to stay away too. Look, I can't fault it for the price. It's undeniably good for $479. The computer you get is a great deal. But for most, I think you're better off filling up the piggy bank a little bit more before you splurge on a laptop. I'm Quinn of Snazzy Labs. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, we'd appreciate that you give it a like and share it with your friends. And as always, stay snazzy.